Hello everyone and welcome once again. Today we've got a pretty simple build. It's a 1965 Mustang for New Guy's Garage. Now, when I say simple, that's being a bit facetious. In point of fact, this actually turned out to be one of the toughest builds we've ever done. Toward the end of it, I was really feeling like it was cursed. I'm kidding. If you're wondering why I didn't open this one, it's because it's been sitting in the spare pile for months. Anyway, let's get started. You see this motor? It's gonna go. I have a plan to pump as much detail into this car as I can, since otherwise it's gonna be such a simple build. Look at that, we're already in the goo. Let's get this thing polished up and put into primer. Here's another if you're wondering moment. If you're wondering why we started in the shop and later on we're in the house, it's because it's freaking cold outside. Also, this had to go through the goo twice to get the paint off. Yeah, that did the trick. Let's get the rest off with a wire wheel. You're going to see that my inner 5-year-old comes out right here. I'm still laughing about it in the edit. I just couldn't help myself. Okay, well, admittedly, I got a little ahead of myself right here because I want to chop this motor out. Dan's real Mustang has that really pretty 289 with the open carbs. I'm going to do what I can to replicate that and make it look as real as possible. With the benefit of hindsight, I probably should have started with the diamond wheel. It's much smaller and I probably wouldn't have worried so much about it. I wonder if there's a way to collect and reuse all of this Zamac. Anybody out there any good at smelting? You'll see right here that I left the hinges on for the hood. I'd really like the hood to open so that we can expose that pretty motor that I'm going to print later. I'm not sure what I'm pointing at right here, but I'm sure I had a good reason. My plan is to build sort of an engine cradle that'll fit between the two wheel wells. With all the details that I'm planning, it'll look pretty good. Let's get it off the paint. Uh-oh, that might be the wrong color. That joke at Dan's expense is in no way going to come back and bite me in the ass. Okay, back to the goo. I really can't use the aerosolized version in the house. While the gel version is much more tedious than the other, it does work much quicker. Just don't tell Foggy I'm using her toothbrush. Alrighty, let's let this sit for about half an hour or 45 minutes and then we'll get it rinsed off. Okay, while it's drying, let's get on to Tinkercad and see what we can do about that motor. Remember that we're going for detail here, folks. I want to get all the little parts and pieces on this one. You'll barely be able to see it when the hood's open on the car, but I actually printed the starter. Alright, I think that's enough tinkering with this. Let's get it back into primer and then back into paint. You'll notice that I started with red this time. Alright, so you might notice that my motor design is a little small. It's okay. What I did was use the box that it's surrounded in and created incrementally larger boxes until I was satisfied that I could fill the engine compartment. I gotta tell you folks, I'm super proud of this and I'm excited to show you. Well, maybe. There we go. Just look at that. Okay, just one more design for the wheels and we can start getting everything put back together. In all of the photos that I have of Dan's car, he has Steelies on the back and it looks like Kragers on the front. The Steelies are an easy enough design, but the Kragers are a little more complicated. If they are indeed Kragers. Not to worry, we'll get it. You'll see right here that I'm not happy with the spokes. They were very clearly too wide, so I thinned them out a little bit. Okay, let's get this off to the printer and see how Foggy's doing on those other details. That woman certainly knows what she's doing. Let's start getting this thing put back together. All right, so all the parts and pieces are back from paint. Let's start getting this thing back together. First things first, though, I have to make sure that that hood will both open and close with the new hinge and cradle in it. Man, that does look pretty good, though. Let's get these braces on and see how the hood does afterward. Yeah, I think you've suffered long enough. What do you say we get on to the glamour shots?